All
And I
right.
feel like
Hmm.
sometimes like that isn't the pink that people imagine when you say pink. It's kind of like people would say that's a purple. But no, that's definitely perfect.
Amazing. You know what? I love it when we get the pinks right. So,
Mhm.
welcome to your first session. I am excited. Are you excited?
Yeah, and then also before I guess we start, can I ask your name because I've always just addressed you as KK whenever I'm talking to Eric. So
That is my preferred name, but if you want to use first names, that's totally fine. In that case, it's David.
okay, gotcha. If you prefer KK, then I'll just go with KK.
Sounds good. It's It's Aldair, right? Am I saying that right?
Correct. Yeah, like all there, but with a D instead.
Oh, okay, Aldair.
Yeah,
Love it. So, let's talk. So, do you have the answers to the questionnaire?
I did. I have them written out. I sent them to myself, so I have them right here in front of me.
Perfect. So can you can you show me or send them my way so I can take a quick look see?
Yeah, of course. I didn't necessarily finish, I guess, the last one. I did, but I kind of like forgot about it. But I thought I was just gonna,
The last one is like the one that we can kind of like talk openly about, so that's okay.
yeah,
So I'm not
yeah.
too worried.
Here, it's
Mm-hmm.
coming out. I'll keep this. Actually, well, there it is. The last one
Method
was just
steps
like I was
of
just gonna, yeah, and I just like wrote this last night, and I haven't really looked at it today, so.
no, no, no. This is good. This is good. So, method steps that are sought out and blah 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 blah. Okay, I love that. Okay, cool. So I view a win condition in a similar way.
Mhm.
For me, the defining feature of win condition. Let me just grab the one I gave to the definition I gave to KJH because that's like my
Mhm.
actual formal one. So, since I have it on hand, presumably, a game state that a player plays towards, characterized by the accrual of advantage past a tipping point. So this would be like your steps, basically.
Mhm.
Um, which severely limits, if not denies, the opponent the ability to fight back against it. So, for
Right.
example, Marth versus Luigi on FD, with Luigi in
Mhm.
juggle state with no jump.
Right.
So, another way to think of it is the point at which the opponent's best move is to hope and pray.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and like none of that is discordant with what you've got here, because the steps are developed through player experience, the matchup, a dynamic itself, and adaptations that the two have within that context. And the map itself can sometimes offer alternative paths to victory, like Dreamland
Right.
Timeout, Battlefield Timeout, are like definitely two really key examples there.
Mhm.
So the purpose of that question is mainly just to get people thinking about like what are different ways that my character wins? Like when at the end of
Mhm.
the day, if I had to boil it down to like what my character does to succeed in a given matchup, like what is the like how do we get to the end? Like what is the end state and like what things get me there? Because that
Right.
I think is like so key.
Mhm.
Um, terms. Okay, perfect. Love it. So let me ask you though. Did you notice that the three of them have a rock paper scissors relationship with each other?
I actually did not. That's actually here. Let me look at that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So do you see it? And if so, describe no, and if so, let me know.
Yeah. Also, just to let you know, I am a huge scatterbrain, so it takes me a long time to like think about situations because I tend to overthink a lot. So,
Okay, so why don't we try it? Why don't we in the interest of time then, why don't we try thinking out loud then? What's
yeah.
going on in your head right now?
Well, right now I'm trying to figure out what's kind of like trying to just label each thing if it's a rock, paper, scissors. So what's rock, what's paper, and what's scissors. So I'm trying to figure out what's at least undershooting and kind of how it relates to the next one, like with punishing. So,
So undershooting is
uh,
basically putting out an attack as self-defense, right?
yeah.
So the way I think of undershooting is that undershooting is designed to expand our territory or it's designed
Hmm.
to defend our territory because we're
Right.
catching an opponent who is either stationary or an
Hmm.
opponent who is coming towards us, right?
Right. Hmm.
So it's kind of like self-defense or active defense.
Okay.
So how would that interact with overshooting?
How would that interact? Oh, shoot. Okay.
Because overshooting basically charges forward into the
Right.
opponent's end zone. Like, it doesn't protect itself up front, but what it does is it aims for the end of their retreat area. So if those two collide, what happens?
Then overshoot wins.
So let's imagine it with characters, right? So let's say we have two Marth players.
Okay.
The one undershooting is naring and fairing in place.
Okay.
The overshooting one is running into the other Marth's end zone and trying to...
Yeah,
Okay.
then undershooting would definitely win, right?
Yeah,
Just because it's not in the right position at all. He's not attacking in the right position at all.
right, because overshooting is assuming there's no fence there, but undershooting
Yeah.
says, no, there is actually one.
Right. Okay.
So then what about what would we want against undershooting? We'd probably want whiff punishing, right?
Right.
Because, like, whiff punishing's whole thing is there is a fence there, but I can parkour my way around it.
Yeah. Okay.
And then overshooting says, okay, but, like, there's no fence, right? And whiff punishing says, well, no, and because then he gets. So
Okay. Yeah.
Does that
Yeah,
make more sense?
That makes more sense, and I was definitely not thinking about that at all, to be honest. But yeah, so that makes perfect sense.
The reason I have this question here is because the Smash games, in my opinion, from Melee onwards, are characterized by there being two rock, paper, scissors games that are running concurrently with every interaction. One of them is this one. This is the more important one, in my opinion, but they're both very important. Like 2-to-1 levels of important, like 2-to-1 importance ratio. But this is this would be the 2. Because this is the positional side of it, which is essentially like positional / commitment side of it, which is how is the action we're doing being done. And then the other side would be the one we're more familiar with, generally speaking, which is the what action is being done, which would be like the grab, hitboxes, crouch / shield side of things.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you think about like how this might be relevant for us to... Can you think about how this might be a useful framework for us to like understand combat versus a character... No, versus an opponent's character?
Wait, can you repeat to me the question?
Sure. So can you think of any ways when we're playing in tournament where understanding this positional RPS system, like undershooting, whiff punishing, overshooting, and the action or hit property one, like attack, grab, crouch / shield, can you think of any ways that information might be useful, like understanding those dynamics and how they play off each other might be useful in a tournament match against a given opponent?
Well, I imagine it's...
Yeah, go ahead. Be brave. It's all good. No wrong answers.
Right. This is always my problem. I always feel like I'm dead wrong.
Try me.
Yeah. Well, okay. If you could just like run it through me one more time. I'm just like losing it all in just like 1 second.
Here, I'll type it out. How does knowing the undershoot, whiff, punish, overshoot, RPS system how does knowing that the runs alongside the grab, attack, crouch / shield system help us versus different opponents?
Well, I mean, I imagine that it just all correlates, right? Like they're all just kind of
Yeah,
mm,
keep going, keep
like
going.
it all just like grab, attack, crouch, and shield is also just the RPS system, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the what is the opponent doing. The first one is the undershoot, whiff, punish, overshoot is how are they doing it. For instance, like you could undershoot Nair, you could overshoot Nair. You could try to whiff punish with Nair by like using your jump to dodge the attack. And like hit them in their end lag. Like one of them gives you how the move is being done, and the other one gives you what move is being done. Would you like a clue?
Yes, please.
Is every character and every opponent equally good at all three of the on all three pieces of each system, or are players and characters generally better at some than others?
That's definitely the latter.
Okay.
So
how would that be helpful?
hmm.
What did you say you wanted help with?
Oh, like like this would be helpful in seeing how an opponent what options does an opponent like doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Because think about it, like, and it also helps us understand like matchup situations too, right? Because that's something that you mentioned that you wanted to get better at. So think
Right.
about Luigi, right? Like Luigi's probably really good at undershooting because he's got his great tilts. And he's got like powerful short hop aerials, although they don't really go far because of his air mobility. He's got his great down smash, F smash. All of his smash attacks are nuts, actually. But what is he not good at?
He's not good at. I just. Well, I know he's not good at recovery, but I'm not sure if that's the right answer.
No, in the context of like the undershoot, whiff punish, overshoot
Yeah.
RPS.
Okay.
Which ones? He's good at two of them. We know one is undershoot. What's the other one he's good at? Which one is
He's
he
good at
good at?
overshooting.
Good at overshooting? Absolutely. His long wave
Yeah.
dash is so good at overshooting.
Right.
What's the problem with his whiff punish game?
He.
I promise you, you're overthinking it.
Yeah, it's the whole move. Like I'm thinking about like two like different things right now, but I don't know.
No,
I don't know if it's like at all
talk
right at all.
talk me through it. What are you? What is your mind gravitating towards? Like, what seems like it could be? It could have something there.
I'm thinking that Luigi. So he's bad at whiff punishing. So I'm just thinking about how Luigi's. No, that doesn't make sense. About his like wave dash, about his wave dash length. That he's. I'm not sure if he can really control it, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's 10 frames of cooldown when he starts moving every single time, and the lengths are so long that it's really difficult to position that precisely.
Right.
What about what's another way people whiff punish? They use their jumps and dashes, right? Well, Luigi's not really good at using either of those because his
That's
dash.
true. He has.
Yeah.
Dash, drift. Okay.
So he has trouble. So the thing is, just because Luigi's bad at this does not mean he can't do it at all. It just means that his gameplay is probably biased towards the other two. Because he just doesn't have the same, like, it takes way more effort to use the precision movements that, say, like, Sheik or Captain Falcon would use to set up whiff punishes, because they just have better kits for it. Luigi, like, funnily, I actually think Sheik and Falcon and Marth are characterized by being good at all three parts. If we think about how they fight, a lot of times they're, like, positioning themselves in opposition to... They're doing basically whatever beats what the opponent is doing of those three things. Like a pretty large amount of the time, I'd say. But for characters like for Jigglypuff and Falco, a lot of times there's like specific ones on that group. They can do all three of them, but there's ones that they're biased more towards because they don't just do them well; they do them exceptionally well.
Okay.
Like Falco's undershooting and overshooting, right? Because his whiff punishing is kind of awkward with his speed, but then like he has the best undershoot in the game with the laser and the best overshoot in the game also with the laser. So, and then for Jigglypuff, like whiff punishing undershooting God because of her air mobility.
Right.
They both can do the one that they're less good at. Like they probably have like a B plus or an A minus in that category, but they're like S tier in the other two, which is like part of why they're good. And then and then Fox is like just stupid and does all. Actually, honestly, I think Fox's Achilles heel is undershooting. Like I think that he only has like an A plus in that, and then he's like godlike at the other two. But that's neither here nor there.
Right.
And,
that makes sense.
yeah. Jigglypuff number pad, we'll cover that quickly. So, on the number pad most oppressively, why 7? What's on 7?
I actually was thinking about it, and I kind of just took a guess on how my head thinks about Jigglypuff's up air, and I'm not too sure if up air starts there, to be honest, at 7. So I just kind of took a guess. I'm like, well, I feel generally when I'm above Puff, I generally just don't want to be above her all the time. So I just put 7, 8, 9.
Gotcha. So, I'm going to show you something, because
Yeah.
Let me get the hitbox for this thing out from the handy dandy website that me and some friends are working on. So, let's do playback speed 0.5 there.
Okay, yeah, that's that is definitely not 7.
Is it even 8? Is it even 9 though?
Ooh. Yeah, that's true. It's barely 9. It's like barely 9. Not even barely 9. Like I think that's where it ends. I really thought it was definitely more arced. That's how I've always just pictured it in my head, especially at like getting hit by it. So.
Yeah. No, that makes sense because like that makes sense. But we can agree that it's probably only 4 and 8 then. So what would be my answer for this one is 4, 8, and 6.
4, 8, 6.
Yep.
Okay.
Because she has pound, fair, and nair all on her, all on 6. Like
okay. Yeah.
Like that. She's got that, and then if we pull it, side special. Yeah. So she's got all 3 of them, and then I think that's part of. Now I've had people argue that 6 is not a thing. Like usually they're Fox players, and fair enough, maybe. But the purpose of this question, more or less, is to just get us thinking about like what the character's moves cover and what they do not, because really, if we think about how almost every character fights Jigglypuff, there's really 2 ways of positioning against her air game. You either attack from the diagonals, like Sheik and Fox, or like Pikachu and stuff, or Young Link even, or you get under her, like Sheik and Fox and Pikachu and Young Link and stuff. But like you see, like it's one of those two, spots, generally speaking. Even Samus, I think, probably does this to some degree.
Yes.
Yeah, because like I'm thinking like her tipped bear, her fair, like the purpose of missiles is probably to get her to commit so she goes over them, and then you can or to hit her from diagonals depending on where she's wafting around. So, I think that so if we think of, and it's not because that like. It's not because of like a random reason. It's just that those angles and positions represent holes in her kit. Right. So this is another way that we can kind of visualize and understand in a kind of quick and dirty fashion where we want to be. Yeah. And I think I think that I think that we can definitely help you with what your goals are, because I think that everything we've gone over works in service of this.
Right.
What are you That said, I want to know that if this is working for you. Like, how do you feel about how this is going so far?
I definitely think it's going well, especially with the kind of like the thoughts, like thinking about this and like trying to make me actually come up with like answers that I might not really give the light of day to. Like, I think I understand them, but do I really understand them? I don't think so. So I definitely think it's definitely helped me just like get my brain active, just thinking about these kind of things that I want to improve on. So I definitely think it's going well.
That's awesome to hear. So, this is now the part where I'm going to actually pass it to you. Um, with the form completed, we have a lot of different ways that we can look at at your goals here about improving on your matchup situations, on situational awareness, recognizing player habits, and what things might be most prudent to respond with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that getting direction is like the easy part because we just need to know where to start. So, is there a
Right.
particular matchup or some matches that we could go over together?
Ooh. Um. Yeah, I would think like recently I just went to a tournament yesterday and I did lose, and I have always had an issue with this particular player who does play Puff. So that is one that I definitely would feel like I would definitely want to go over right now.
Is this Patrick?
This is Cubs.
Okay. So if you have tournament sets that we can look at and they're a problem player for you, yeah, let's take a look. See, do you have the
Yeah,
link?
I do actually. It was streamed, so let me get that up. It was on Sparks channel.
Let's go, Spark.
Yeah, I was gonna say Yaku, but I'm like, well, I have more issues with Cubs right now. He's always been a problem matchup with me.
What does he do that's so tough? I guess we'll find out. But like,
I don't know, to be honest. I've I've told James about this, and he thinks I'm crazy that I have gone in more confidence against Patrick. It's like compared to that of James, and I don't know why. Just because I know Patrick is the way better player, but I don't know why James scares me so much. James has always had like I've always had this issue against James. He's a very tough player for me to beat.
well, you know what, home. Well, one thing that you might have heard on commentary, especially if you watch stuff that Brandon commentates, styles make fights. Absolutely, they do. It's probably one of the most astute things that a melee commentator has ever said, because yeah, that's just how it is.
Right. Yeah. And here's the little flame. There it is.
Beautiful. Oh my god, you timestamped it too? You're my favorite
Yeah.
student. You're becoming my favorite student so fast. Look out, Meds and Moki. Okie dokie. So, let's share my screen. And which one are you? You're the one on the left. Are you on left or right?
The left.
Nice. You look very, very unhappy to be fighting this person.
I I usually don't I'm very mopey about going into a set. I'm just very like this is gonna be tough.
Hmm.
I and that's especially against James. James has always been the player who just always like has my number. And it's just very difficult for me to like lock in against him.
I like what you're doing so far.
Oh yeah, I actually can't see the screen.
Oh, did I not stream? Wait.
Sometimes this happens with me and Eric.
Okay.
Sometimes
Okay, let's try this again.
yeah. Either that or like rejoining the call.
Can you see now or no?
I cannot, but let me try to rejoin the call.
Sure.
Now,
Okay, perfect. So, what I was gonna say is, I really like what you're doing at the beginning of this. So, like that, the platform movement, knowing to block the power shielded laser coming back. I mean, sorry, missile.
mm-hmm.
And the way you like kind of like forced him above you, so that you could go for that. So you could go for that fair to like attack the diagonal, because we're already seeing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So talk to me about that aerial interrupt. Um, so
I was definitely feeling just like I could just get a free down smash right here, possibly if he's just gonna be in this spot right here. So I just wanted to just
okay.
be cheeky and just be aerial interrupt into immediate down smash.
So here's a thought.
Mm-hmm.
And let me know if you hate it. But if we're gonna predict that he's gonna be in spot position for like that down smash, what do you think about like? Do you think that there's something even like because this is clearly a read of some kind, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if we like could we like nair like is there any combo potential if we like nair at an angle here, like fast fall nair at an angle and then like nair again?
Yeah, even if we get hit out of it, we're at a very low percent that Puff's aerials aren't gonna really do that much hit lag. So I can definitely just nair, get hit by an aerial, and then nair again. So yeah, that would be definitely a great idea. And I could also just get a second nair as well if I'm able to just like, I guess, dodge one of his attacks. I can get a
Yeah.
second nair out, a rising nair.
Yeah, I'm thinking like if because we could probably run off platform fast fall nair here.
Hmm.
Could we also like potentially when she misses this like shield drop into missile?
Uh, yeah, we could.
But that doesn't sound as appealing to you. You're like,
It doesn't. It doesn't just because I'm thinking of how slow sometimes missile comes out and how much her arm cannon kind of sticks out, so I'm prone to getting, straight hit by a random aerial sometimes. That's
okay,
what I feel when I'm missiling that close, especially because you can also break it. So,
gotcha. So this is kind of like the range of our down smash ish,
hmm,
like not maybe this far, but like around here. So that's one
right.
line of play that we have as well. We also have the option to like kind of run off with like nair or something. There's no way she's that steep. It's probably more like this.
Hmm.
So we also have run off nair, like attacking her here with our boot. So that's also an option too. Missile's not quite as exciting, but we'll make a note of it. What is there anything else that really jumps out at you as like a viable option here?
Hmm. If I wasn't doing the down smash,
Yeah, like we're
okay,
we're we're assuming that we just boarded the platform.
okay. Nothing too much. Probably the only thing I could think of is like dash back, shield drop, and then place a back air if I think she's gonna be starting to drift into me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only other thing. Either that or I can jump over her, but I think I would get caught by an up air. So.
Yeah, my first thought was like trying to go for down air, but the more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, she's gonna be out of end lag too soon.
Hmm.
So like going off this way and then defending. And I guess the
Yeah.
advantage to like going off this way is that like we don't have to if we're wrong about what she does, we can just shoot the missile anyway.
Right.
So that makes sense. Like I like that. It's a little like more cowardly than the other plays, but I can totally see the appeal of it. If you're like if this was later on in the stock, I could totally see the appeal of that.
Right.
Is there ever a reason to bomb here? I feel like Morse code would try to bomb here for some reason. I don't know if it's good, but like
Yeah, I think a bomb would definitely uh place a bomb where we're in that position right there,
like
and
here.
then probably drift to the left, see if she comes in. If she tries to attack the bomb, then we can probably drift back in there.
Okay, cool. So like
Yeah.
bomb is kind of like a is like a tricksy thing.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But it like guards this space and then we have like the jumping happen. Cool.
Right.
So, okay, I like this. I like breaking down like simple situations like that like when we do these so I can kind of get a sense of what you see and what I see.
Hmm.
And also I get to make diagrams. I love making diagrams.
Right.
So let's think here. Oh, okay, like that. Oh, yo, you're so cool. So when she does that shield drop bear, is there anything you can do about it, like with the missile, or like probably not, right? Because the missile just gets broken by it, and you don't
Yeah,
have enough time.
that's what I was thinking when we had mentioned the missile. It just kind of gets broken. So
Now you do the plop, charging the beam when she's respawning. Like, sorry, when she's coming back. Oh, that was that was a really good threat. Oh no! Okay, I like what I'm seeing. Oh, this is on point. So a lot of this is really okay. That was sick. That was dirty. So a lot of
yeah.
this really is just like keeping her in the diagonals and then
Yes.
like punishing her landings with like power hits and stuff when she comes out. And then like you
Hmm.
use like the beam as like a threat once she's like committed or exhausted resources, kind of.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, this is basically how I remember Duck playing it. So I don't know like if people consider him good at this matchup. Like
He is very good at this matchup.
okay. Yeah, because I know that he was like I thought he was good, but I never know like by today's standards if things are still considered good. But like this is like kind of him. So talk to me about the choice to like shoot the beam there.
Well, generally, if I'm able to time the missile and the beam together, since Puff's shield has to go back to neutral, it has the chance of shield poking. So I kind of just those are always gamble shots. I don't know if you can be consistent with it, to be honest.
Well, yeah, because like the timing and spacing is going to vary because you're working with two projectiles.
Mm-hmm.
Is there so something I feel like that Techno Spider might have considered? And I don't know if like I don't know what your thoughts are on him, but like when I was watching him play the Puff match, I feel like he might have gone for shield poke with a normal here. Like after the missile, like advancing wave dash here after the missile hits, like maybe like tilt or like F tilt or something. What do you think? Like with her percent being at 40, do you think there's any merit to going for like a ground move here?
There is. You could definitely try F smash. It's not gonna get you. Usually, not against this player, not against James. You're not gonna get rest punished. Against Patrick, you might. But
could you forward tilt? Could you forward tilt to take like less damage to like go for a similar one? Because like she's got her low angle. Like you have the ability to angle it too, right? So you can aim for the corner. Or is it just like her percent's too low?
I think her percent's too low to really do anything because if I get a charge shot anyways, if this charge shot hit, I get another one, which I want all the time. I just want always shot. So
gotcha.
That was mine. So it's either S smash or charge shot, in my opinion, if you want shield poke. But forward tilt, I never do a shield poke with forward tilt.
What if you up tilted?
Up tilt is definitely very good, but it's definitely one of the habits that I usually fall into. And I think if we watch this, like if we continue to watch this set, it's definitely something that you can just see that I autopilot to.
Okay.
So up tilt's good, but it's definitely something that James probably knows that I just have a big habit of doing. So he'll just shield. It usually doesn't shield poke at all.
Okay, but like even with the missile supporting it.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
So
and usually sometimes F tilt is really slow. So, or up tilt. Up tilt is really slow on startup. So I believe James can do a forward air out of his shield, but I'm not too sure.
Definitely not after the missile. Like if we had like wave dashed in with forward tilt after the missile, like after we shot the missile, wave dashed in with up tilt after firing the missile. I'm reasonably confident he can't do anything about the up tilt itself. The reason I'm kind of thinking up tilt is because you mentioned that like it's we're looking for like a charge beam, like we're looking for a charge beam reset, right? So we can get value out of it and then do it. Well, the ground bounce on the up tilt is a way to do that, but I see your point about it not maybe like shield poking as consistently or effectively as I think it might. So I think that the forward smash is an interesting thought. That all makes sense. The only other thing I might ask is, I know it's like early in the set, so it might sound like suicide, but what if we grab?
Grab at this percent? It would be all right. It would definitely get me.
Like you down throw beam him, right? Like after.
Yeah, down throw charge shot. I usually don't do that just because I always miss it and I didn't practice it, but I should. Yeah, you can definitely down throw charge shot, or if you don't want to waste or you don't want to waste your charge shot, you can probably just down throw nair if you want. And then DI out, you can definitely down throw pivot back there, but not at this percent. There's no point right now.
Okay, so cool. So grab is an option that we like. We like F smash. Cool. What else would you say is good? Like the beam is fine here, I think, from how you've described it. So beam is still good.
I do like shield to sharp, especially because I also get shield damage, so I could get a shield poke later on. So
true. Okay, perfect. I love that. I really like this. I think that this gives us a little bit more complete, like a more complete system in this spot overall here, because with how this isn't consistent based on like distance and spacing, I think that this gives us a little bit more threat, having like knowing that we can grab an F smash here. What's interesting is the beam is the safe option, like between the three of them. For that reason, I think that it is worth considering like things like up tilt, because while it isn't like as likely to shield poke. It's also not as likely to like go sideways. It's like a thing we can do that's pretty good and somewhat like reliable.
Okay.
But yeah, well, overall I like how you're playing this though. I want to be clear about that. I think that you've got
Yeah, it is definitely, even though I say that I lose to James, it is definitely one of my favorite matchups. I love this matchup, but the puffs here are just way too good at it.
So one small. This is a teensy thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's common for Jigglypuffs to kind of like hang out in spots where it looks like we can hit them with the diagonal.
Right.
One thing I would recommend that might help, and I don't know if this was that forward tilt or up angled.
Which one? The one that just happened? Or...
Yeah, I think that was like a standard forward tilt, right?
I think it was a standard forward tilt. Yeah.
So I'd say up angled forward tilt is pretty good in this matchup, just because of where she likes to go, and just be careful about like chasing her with like short up aerials. Because a lot of times she's not nearly as vulnerable as she's not nearly as vulnerable as she looks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no! Why doesn't he rest?
That's that's what I always wonder.
Does he just not know how to do it?
I don't know. I've never asked him before, but he just doesn't really rest the things that I try to do.
Gotcha.
So,
this is a huge thing. Like the thing you do here is like super sick. So when you get into the air, where is it? So coming up soon. The way that you like handle your disadvantage state here is like actually really good, because you can see how like you're kind of timing your nair to come out after his thing is missed.
Right.
Yeah. So like getting him on his head when he like after his leg is kind of retracted a bit. Really, really good.
Yeah, that's how I like to think of nair. I don't like to think about it. It's something I want to use this nair to cover myself, because it's definitely not going to work out like that. So I just try to time it to see like when I can actually put it out and actually get it.
That was a sick call out.
Yeah.
He likes to power shield.
He enjoys power shielding. He will power shield all my missiles, so I let her float above him.
As Jigglypuff, he has a variety of options for dealing with missiles.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna watch normal speed for a bit.
Yeah.
So what does he do that like so far you look pretty in control. Like everything looks fine. Mm-hmm. So do you win this set, or like what happens here?
I lost the set 3-1, and then what I feel that I lose this set is I felt like I was willing to put myself in situations that are just not good and keep playing those situations. Like right, well, kind of like that kind of spot. I don't know. It's so like I got a back air, and I believe sometimes I would get continuously back aired from that position because I'm willing to play from there. James is calling out my timing of my aerial when I want to go in from the diagonal. So he keeps back airing me. I'm like, oh, I want to jump because I want to get out of here. And he starts back air, back air, back air.
Gotcha. So
like, that's how I feel. I just feel like I keep playing too many losing positions. Yeah. I think if that's something that makes sense.
No, that absolutely makes sense. So like, let's look at this. So you got hit by this back air, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you just like fast fall into the corner and land here,
yeah,
what can he do to you?
Yeah, there's not much he could do. I can just I could just shield a lot of the stuff that he's coming in at, but jump is definitely not the choice to go to do. It's definitely putting me in danger of just losing my stock immediately.
Yeah. So so let's say so jumps can be on purpose or accidental. So what happens? So if we get hit here, like if we pretend that Samus is actually here, we're just gonna do yay Samus. And she's got her big like arms, like her armor. So let's say that Samus gets hit here, and I guess she would have a visor, wasn't she? She'd like actually like that.
Right.
So if she's here and she gets hit and she doesn't jump, what are her options from this kind of disadvantage state? Like, is she even in that much disadvantage? I don't really think so, right?
Not really, especially if you want to also bomb. Bomb is actually really good just because it makes you really small and it gives you a lot of drift.
Yeah, and then you're also creating an obstacle here that drops down to here and covers like some amount of space, like around here.
Yeah, an obstacle he has to think about.
And then you come out of bomb like what? Like around here?
Yeah, like around there. I get back to the ground, and I, yeah, pretty much just.
Yeah, that seems good. So let's say if you accidentally jump, does that change anything about the bomb? I don't think so, right?
No, I
Like,
could definitely bomb again. I could just bomb. Well, bomb in my new position after jumping,
yeah,
and
like
it's
bomb
pretty much the
here.
same thing. Yeah. The only thing is that if James sees my bomb, he can follow. He can definitely follow me. I think. I
Okay.
feel he can definitely follow me. If I'm trying to drift away, he can drive it back at me.
Okay, cool. But like,
Yeah.
and could we? Is there any way that we can do anything with this platform?
Um,
Like, would we double jump towards it and then like bomb here and then move back?
we could. Yeah, I could definitely see that. And
It refreshes the jump, right?
yeah, it refreshes the jump if you land, so that's really good as well. So,
Cool. So like we've got a lot of different plays here involving different bombs, different locations, and I think the last one, like even though we've gone over it, it's just like yeah, just fast falling here, and then just accepting neutral, like
yeah,
our neutral position in the corner. It's not a great position, but like it means we didn't take more damage trying to fight our way out of something silly.
right.
What I want to point out here is we're kind of like establishing. You know how we talked about the undershoot, overshoot, whiff punish triangle?
Hmm.
These bombs are kind of like undershoots, aren't they?
Yeah,
And then the fast fall to the ground is kind of like a whiff punish in a way, because like we're setting ourselves up to be able to defend with movement. So it's not quite a whiff punish, but we're like getting into a spot where we can operate more freely. One of the big
right.
things about like one of the reasons that this kind of spacing is really good for Jigglypuff and for characters on offense in general is because once we knock somebody off balance in the air, they usually can't overshoot anymore. So their options are pretty constricted in terms of like
Hmm.
their ability to deal with us if we like play a more whiff punishy like undershoot like a baiting heavy game really, because that's just
Right.
one of the constraints of the advantage state. I mean, sorry, of the disadvantage state we're in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. It's also part of why Jigglypuff's such a good character. Woo! Because she has like multiple jumps. She can be like, all right, I'm gonna overshoot anyway. Let's go.
Right.
I see what you mean though. Like, yeah, you're trying to like create that you're trying to force like a specific position, but like if you look at how he's like moving, he's just not letting you like go there. Because this is one of Jigglypuff's like tricks. She just kind of like hovers around like this area,
Hmm.
and then you see how we're trying to come up there to meet her, but like because her moves her bear ends like her bear is interruptible on like 30 or something, and it's out for like 9 to 12. It's crazy. So because
Hmm.
of that, she's just like she's gone here, but she's not actually committed to anything.
Right.
Yep. A lot of the moves that we wind up hitting on Jigglypuff just happen to be like reads and stuff. Like at least for getting things started, like there's a little bit of anticipation and like trapping her that's involved.
Hmm.
That was beautiful. Love that.
That yeah, that is the new Eric stuff. So I've definitely taken from him. That
Nice.
actually, I guess, replaces the up angled F tilt that you were talking about, and use an F smash. So
So I love that, and I think that makes perfect sense. The only thing I'm going to point out is we're now 2 for 2 on these charge shots.
that's true.
What do you think about bomb, like going for bomb stuff after you like missile into their shield? Like, could you get into their space fast enough and like bomb safely?
Yeah, you can. And it's something that I have been working on, but a lot of the times in tournament, I tend to go with what you know, I'm just out of habit. So that's where I talk about where I'm like I'm just up tilting immediately on shield. I'm F smashing immediately on shield, and I'm charge shotting immediately on shield. So these are a lot of things that aren't habit, but you can definitely start bombing, and it's definitely was something that could help me in the set because I felt like I was losing a lot of interactions just by James just shielding. So
Yeah. Okay.
bomb.
So talk me through this interaction that's coming up with this here. So you're gonna have this missile coming up. So how would from this position you've just seen him shield and you've gone for this missile?
Mhm.
What would you have to do in order to get the
Mhm.
bomb here?
I would have to just start dashing. I think dash can just reach there.
So like on this frame, you'd have
Yeah,
to like dash forward.
yeah, like dash forward.
Okay. And how much stun does the missile do? Like, what's your window? Like, how much? What's the tightness on this?
I actually don't know. I always rely on Eric for frame data stuff whenever the question comes up.
Okay,
But I think if I remember off the top of my head, I think it's 14 frames.
that
I
sounds about
think.
right.
I'm not too sure.
No, that sounds
Yeah.
about right. 14. No, it's got to be like at least it's got to be like 12 to 4. It's probably missile does 12, right?
I think.
Okay.
I don't know. I always have relied like when me and Eric are both in like this like both at the same spot or something, and somebody asks a question about certain data stuff. It's always I rely on Eric.
Well, you know what? Let's quickly check. So, side special super 12. Cool. So it does 12 damage, and then with the
Okay.
I won't make you calculate this, but with the formula it is 14. So, yeah, we are good. Assuming it's at full power, it would be 14. So yeah, and so you'd go over here, you'd dash, you'd bomb, and then what do you do after the bomb?
I would definitely wave land, and I could definitely look for. Not that I think I would do it. I think no, actually, I think I would do it. Is waveland into waveland back, so like try to get it full drift, and then F smash because I'm pretty sure his shield is going to be or his ear is going to be poking, so I can poke his ear with F smash. Either that or I can charge shot if I didn't charge shot.
Gotcha. So I'm just gonna make a so Jigglypuff, like we hit missile connected here.
Mm-hmm.
So then Puff's shield is this green circle. That's too dark. That's too bright. So Puff's shield is this green circle. So then the idea would be here. We would go over here. Like this is our starting position. So 2 is we dash over here. Then we would probably. So what do we do next? Bomb, like run, cancel, bomb, something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So okay, cool. So bomb here. So 3 down B. And then we're going back out of that into F smash, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So punching. And then that would be our last play. Is there ever a reason we do something that isn't punching her? Could we like beam?
Yeah, we could definitely charge shot as well. It definitely after a missile and a bomb, I'm pretty sure her shield is really low, so she's either looking to roll out of her shield.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she would be looking to roll out of her shield, so you can
Cool.
definitely shoot a charge shot.
Cool. So I'm gonna do like a Mayo wave here.
Right.
And it's just like boom. So that would be neutral B. So 4 neutral
Right.
B. Is there anything else that we could do here that like comes to mind as being like viable, or do you think it's just like beam or F smash? Could we down smash ever?
I don't think you could down smash.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah. Yeah.
But basically, these are 2 options, and these are good because like one of them lets us F smash and then like fire the beam at her recovery and potentially get another one. One of them lets us beam her. Like we've just got things going on in this position now, which is like very very important. Okay, cool. And like, where do you think we do the beam first here? Like, why do you think that happens? I know you said comfort. But do you think it's like recognizing the landing, like the landing in relation to the missile, or like what do you think the biggest obstacle is?
I think or you mean like what was my reasoning for shooting the charge shot immediately?
Nah, well, kind of. So you said that you usually fall back on habits in these spots, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question here is, why do you think you fall back on habit here? Like, is it that you don't?
I'm guessing because
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think I fall to habit because I don't think I'm very well practiced in the other things that I would like to do. I have definitely done like bomb wavelands and S smashes, but I don't know. I feel like I'd rather just go for the easy option. That's just what my mindset is going to. Just go for the easy push B and that's it.
Okay. I mean, and like we're under pressure in tournaments, so that's totally reasonable.
Yeah.
is it that maybe that you also didn't really recognize how this situation happened, or do you think that's like no?
That's actually also a possibility. I like because that missile is also a comfort missile, so I don't even know. Sometimes in my head, or sometimes I'm not fully looking at the screen, and that could be something that I didn't even recognize that actually was gonna hit the missile. Maybe I just like, or actually gonna hit a shield. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I mean, like those are all good observations. So I think that what we want to do is we want to kind of like set a reminder that this is kind of like what it looks like from a starting position here. We'll make that pink. From a starting position of here, this is like something like what it sometimes looks like for this situation to come up.
Right.
And the key features are puffish shielding. You've got like a big like this would be one of them. This would be the other one. Like this kind of like path of motion and then this, right? Do you think that like if we keep an eye out for those kinds of features, we'll find other spots in these matches where that we could have gone for something like that?
Yeah, I definitely would agree.
Nice. Let's test that theory. How is this going, by the way? Like
this whole session?
Yeah, like this section.
I definitely think it's going well. Again, I feel like it's just getting me to think about things I don't really think about, probably because I'm just uncomfortable thinking about them. But because I feel like I understand them, but I'm guessing I don't. But I'm not too sure.
So what I would say is what's more accurate probably is that was sick, by the way. You probably understand them from certain perspectives and with certain like disciplines, because there's a way that you've learned the game, and yeah, like that's probably how you understand them, and from that angle you probably understand them very well. As someone who predates the Cretaceous era, one of the only players who's got the same number of digits in their age as Hugs, I am very old, so I have learned a few more than you, I think. But I don't like from the perspectives you're like describing, I don't think that anything you said is like wrong. It's just not complete. Like that's the impression I get. It's like not that the logic isn't there. It's just that there's other like ways of reasoning the situation that we haven't looked at yet. That's all.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm here for. So like that's kind of like my whole job. How did that not work?
That's what I was also wondering. I'm like, what? Samus.
Is
sometimes it's RNG.
Oh my god, no one oh lordy,
Yeah.
I think I know why it didn't work, and that's so dumb.
I think it's because of I did it way too fast. It's usually less reliant on RNG when she goes like she recovers from under. So if you let it hang for a bit, but I did it immediately.
Yeah, so what I think happens is this game's dumb. So I think that the way that edge grabs work is that when your character when your character needs to be falling in order for them to grab the edge, right?
Right.
And I think that because of like the timing with which that we pulled ourselves in, we weren't technically falling when we should have been. Like it's just that's so dumb. We played so well, and like I want to do over. I appreciate that you like spent a little bit of time like thinking or like pausing between the match. I feel like a lot of players just like go back in right away, and then they're like, yeah.
I have been recently what has been helping me, and it's definitely something that helped me in the most recent set I've had, is just thinking about and trying to dig deep in things that I really want to do. So if I really want to like at least, try to win,
that was so
I really have to dig deep. As a player, I just really have to dig deep. So I take my time, breathe a little bit.
This was so sick.
Yeah.
After she pounds there, like what can we like what's the punish there? Can we punish?
I think I was a bit too far away to punish. I may have gotten it. No, I could have probably gotten a dash attack, maybe?
Could you like jump back and tipped back here?
Jump back and tip back here. I think that might be too slow. No, I think it might have worked, but I would definitely need to be like immediately doing it.
Yeah, like I'm just wondering, like as maybe not for this situation because this one's a little wacky, but like as a general thing, because I notice he pounds a lot, and I feel like he gets away with it.
Mm-hmm.
Could it like I'm thinking like maybe like short hop short hop backwards, rising tipped back air. I'm wondering if we like if that can potentially get these. See what I mean? He's just so like, and then like if he's on the ground, we just like dash attack or like forward smashers, whatever, like dash dance into those. But like, I feel like with him, he's too comfortable pounding.
Yeah.
We did the missile into thingy again.
Right. Shield it wasn't even up. I would just assume that he wanted to power shield my missile, so I think that's what was going through my head. That's definitely what I was thinking just right now.
Okay. So on that one, like
so
I short hop beam, I think on that one, right? Like that would work. Okay, cool. Because I saw you do something like that in the first game with I think that same thing, like similar setup. So, oh, he's so silly. He's very I see what you mean about these guys like knowing the matchup because like that is like he is going for edge guards that are really weird for me like at first, but then I think about them and they're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like right. They clearly know this one. And then okay, so you went for the short up there. Do you find it tough to like keep an eye on him when you're playing?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. What do you think?
Yeah.
What happens?
Definitely this platform movement that he likes to do on the side. I kind of tend to lose him. He likes to do those wavelands off of the platform.
Okay.
So I feel like I do lose what he wants to do, and just the general idea of just like not knowing of what he would like to do. So kind of feel like I try to be like a predetermined decision that he might make. So I kind of just like, oh, where'd he go?
Gotcha. So like let's so I think this is not this one, but possibly I think it's like after we die. Like that's when the next one I noticed was. Let's just see here. Yeah, this and then yeah. Okay, so what happens here? Because I think that there's like a beam or something that gets fired that I thought was weird. So let's see here. So point out where the platform, like where you think that where you lose them on the platform movement.
Okay. It may not necessarily be like the platform move, but just in that general space, I feel.
So
I feel like I just don't know if he's gonna actually go on the platform or if he's just gonna stay in that little space.
Okay, so which space are we talking about?
The one kind of like I can't point it out. Kind of like to the inner of the platform, kind of to the
so this
inner
here?
platform, like right here to the side of the platform.
So like here?
So like, kind of like more. How do I describe it?
You know what? We'll make a diagram.
Yeah.
So help me. So where are the borders?
The borders?
Yeah, like where's the edge of this like zone?
The edge of this zone is definitely like, I guess like kind of like the edge of the platform. To
So
start.
here?
A little closer actually. A little more inwards to the platform. I guess like the space that he likes to waveland on.
Okay, so
yeah,
like
like
here.
around that space. Yeah.
So we could he likes to waveland around this area. So like we'll do this.
Yeah.
Perfect. This makes sense to me. So this area in general, because this is something I was going over with OG Kid. Like this is a good spot for Jigglypuff in general because of exactly what we're describing. So we need a better way of like watching this, I think, of keeping an eye on where he's going. So where does your field, like what do you usually have in your field of vision when you're looking at him?
When I'm looking at it?
Like if this is the game you're playing, is your like where do your eyes not see? Like if we get the protractor out here.
Oh, like I guess where my eyes, where I think I guess I just tunnel vision on that spot too much. on that direct spot, that's where my eyes are kind of just are always on.
Like here?
And he tends, yeah,
Okay. So
yeah,
we're
he
not
tends
watching
to,
him. We're watching this.
yeah, whenever he's there. Or are you talking like where he's at right now?
Well, in the match? Are you watching him or are you watching this?
Oh, I'm trying to watch him most of the time. Like, well, in the match, but
Okay.
yeah, but I'm saying that I get lost whenever he's in that position.
Right, because he does weird stuff here.
Yeah.
But would you say this is like kind of what you can see? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what we're gonna do is what I would say is we just need to like we need another mental like reference point.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would say is at what point like we could watch him screw around with this thing, but I find that is a little too he's a little bit too active in this spot. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he can like kind of go back and forth with it. So I would actually put your like line of scrimmage here. Because if like think of it this way, if he crosses like so the way I would do it is you're gonna like look at you're gonna kind of like look at this space, the space between these two lines, because if he starts on this side here, like if he crosses this line going this way, then in order for him to reach you, he has to cross the next one, right? He has to like pass this area in between. So what I'm saying is the way you know he's coming at you is if he starts moving past where the second platform begins. Like if his body starts to touch this border, like from here, that's when you know you have to act. That's when you know he's actually coming towards you. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So where does that mean I think right now you're a little close for that though. So where would you have to be? Where would you have to like move instead so that you can deal with this? Like where does Samus have to go?
She would have to go.
Like how far back does she have to move? Because I think your jump is fine. I just want to know like how like you're a little too close. So how too close? Like what would be a better distance?
If I want to attack Jigs.
Well, if you want to defend against this line or like react to him.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
because this is too close for like reacting to this section. So how far back?
I would say like probably the edge of the image or the screenshot.
Like here?
I would say. Yeah, like right there.
Yeah, I agree, because this is about the distance of this reaction window.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just have to adjust accordingly based on the stage features we're using, like based on the reaction point we're using. So all we have to do is move Samus here and we should be good.
Right.
Because I think that what this tells me is you're playing your... How do I put this? I think that your ideas are really good for this matchup. I just think that there's like something that's slightly off with your positioning, and usually what I'm thinking is it's a little too close. And if it's too close, I think that would actually explain a lot of the anticipation things that you're doing, because you keep describing as having too many having a lot of habits he exploits. Well, if you don't have the space needed for your character to react to what Jigglypuff's threats are and like reposition or play like differently, then yeah, like it would just come down to a lot of scrappy situations, and that's usually where instincts, like that's where you have to go by instincts because nothing else is fast enough. Right. So I think if you play like a little bit further back, if you're willing to play a little bit further back in the neutral side, and I think that you might see better results against this guy. Okay. And then plus the stuff we've gone over, like being a little bit more patient in the like when she's wafting away from you with full hops and stuff, like full hop double jump back airs and stuff, using the bombs so we don't have to like muscle through her when we're in disadvantage, mixing up after our missiles on block a little bit more. Like I think that those things will all definitely help you. Great charge shot. But I think that the bigger thing for neutral is just like understanding where we like the spots like that platform position where we need to hang back a little bit further. Yeah, that's about it. Like that's like that I think will help you a lot versus his tripod game.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. So I do believe, like, if we're not at time, we're very close to it. But talk to me. How did you, like, is this something you might want to do again? Like, how are you feeling after the session? Like, yeah, and what, is there any feedback, constructive feedback from me that I could take, so I could do a better job?
Gotcha. Well, I definitely felt very good about this session, especially since I haven't been. Oh, I didn't even notice I started a video call. Especially since I haven't felt like I haven't been putting in the work that I would like to in Melee, like kind of like the behind the curtains kind of work. So like bot analysis,
Mm-hmm.
studying other things or matchups. So I definitely think this is something that I would like to do again, if that's possible at all.
I would love to.
Uh,
I really
yeah,
enjoyed working with you. So yeah, absolutely. If you want to do this again, we can make that happen.
yeah, for sure. I will definitely try to let you know, and yeah, but I definitely just enjoyed the whole session. Definitely got me thinking, which I don't like doing.
Why not? I love thinking. I also am very sad a lot, so that might have something to do with it, but I like thinking. No, but like for real, like I like thinking about this game. Um do you like thinking about this game, or is it just like I don't like thinking broadly?
I don't like thinking broadly.
Okay.
Um, I do like thinking about this game, but I've always had this issue of just overthinking things when I don't know the answer. Like, I just don't have a solid reply, so I get kind of stuck. And I've always had like issues when people tell me to, you know, analyze the situation. So, like, I know in school I've always had issues with like language arts, things that just force you to like think and just analyze situations. I'd rather prefer things that are a little more definitive and
Mhm.
things that I like to just go from take these steps and that's how you get there.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So I've just always was a big overthinker.
I can definitely understand that. I think that one of the biggest things that helped me is when I started, like when I was, because I used to have, I like thinking about this game, but I think the only reason I like thinking about this game is because I learned different methods on how to think about games when I was like learning other ones like Pokemon and stuff. I think without like having a good framework, it is difficult. It is genuinely pretty difficult to learn this stuff. So that's kind of why I do things the way I do them. It's not so much about like me telling you what the right move is. It's more of us like looking, like figuring out how we can, like what the needs of a situation are, and how we arrived at understanding what those needs are. Because that the game states in this game are extremely dynamic. We can toggle a character like 10%, and then the best move has changed completely, and everything else about like where they were, the amount of time remaining, the stock count, all of that can be the same, and all we did was toggle 10 damage. And the best move is like the most impactful move has now changed completely. I think that with that kind of structure, with that variability, it doesn't really make sense for us to just like try to go on a treasure hunt looking for the best move, but it's a lot more interesting to think about how we got there.
Right.
Yeah. So, I will let you go for now, but I had a great time. I'm a little behind on uploads, so this might take about a week, but it will be posted to YouTube. Full disclosure, I will likely cut out some of our conversation at the very end, and also probably the answers to the questionnaire, just because I don't want those to be like floating around on the internet.
Right.
Because then I have to make a new one, and that one took a lot of time to make, so I don't want to do. I want to get more mileage out of it, but
Okay.
aside from that, I hope that you had a great time. I hope you're not pulling my leg and that you did have a great time. And when you're ready to set up another one, let me know, and I'll be happy to make those arrangements.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely hit you up and see what I'm pretty available, so and I definitely want to just start grinding Melee. I'm trying to improve as much as I can right now,
Okay, well,
but
if that's the case, a lot of people find a bi-weekly structure works for them. Would that be something
okay.
you'd be open to? Like, do you want to just book for next, like, 2 Wednesdays out? And if we need to adjust, we can.
Yeah, would yeah, sure, why not? It would give me a lot of time to honestly digest the information.
Perfect. So what I'll do is, why don't we say the time that we originally discussed? So that would be 7 your time, 9 mine, or does this 10 o'clock slot work better for you?
Um,
Like
I
an
would
hour,
think-
an hour earlier, or this
Yeah.
time? Like that's basically what I'm asking.
I would think an hour earlier would definitely work for
Okay.
me. Yeah.
Excellent. So that's what we'll do. So it'll be 7 p.m. your time or 9 p.m.
Mhm.
my time. I'm going to send you a message to confirm that, like in a day or so. And if we need to reschedule, we'll go from there. Yeah. So we'll set that. No, we'll. Yeah, that's on my calendar, and I'll disconnect the call. But this was lovely. Thank you for this.
Yeah.